Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Nier Automata, I collected what I think are most of the Devola and Popola parts together. Let's make a video featuring them. And I'm happy to announce that I am turning on comments for this video, and also all the previous Automata and Replicant videos. But here we're controlling a 2B. This is after the attack on the big sea monster. And Deval and Popola appear for the first time, I believe. We are looking for 9S. We want a scanner to pick up his black box. And the leader of the resistance, Anemone, might have that. So that's why we're talking to her. She says that Devola and Popola might have it. And then I beat all of the DLC, or a lot of the DLC. I unlocked all of the costumes, and then here is Kaine's costume on 2B. It's interesting, the voice performances for Devola and Popola here are a bit different from Replicant. I don't know if they're the actual same actors or not, but kind of their personalities are a little bit more extreme here, I guess you could say. Alright, but we got the scanner, but they're not exactly friendly to me. And Devola seems to be in her cups. Alright, so that's kind of a like a soft introduction to the characters. But later, with 9S, we will get a more kind of a concrete introduction to them, including a high-def cutscene with him. Stupid 9S. But yeah, I unlocked more costumes from the DLCs, and so 9S is wearing the young protagonist costume, which I was super happy to get. Makes me dislike 9S a little bit less. And then he's also wearing the mask from the Facade Kingdom. Alright, Pod is telling us that these are medical androids. They can fix other androids. So lots of Devola and Popola. Put here to oversee some large operation. But they are not aware. They don't have any memory of that time. Okay, most of Devola and Popola androids were destroyed. Atoning for past sins. Yeah, this is a topic that just keeps coming up in Nier games. Really need to make a video about that. Yeah, Devola is a little bit more spicy in this game than she was in Replicant. Okay, and then there was one fetch quest for them. Unfortunately, I did not record that because I did that a year ago. But we can continue their series of quests here. And these two, they're also kind of given quests by the Resistance, so that they can get materials in order to do their work here. But yeah, playing through Replicant and now Automata here, I can very easily imagine like fans of Devola and Popola being very devout. And it baffles me that they are not playable characters in Nier Reincarnation. And it just kind of layers on top of being baffled by why they are not pumping out the versions of like 2B and A2 and Kaine, when they could very much lead to much better sales for the game, but they just refuse to do that. Okay, so here, 9S is wondering why Deval and Popola are given such hard jobs. We'll ask Anemone. So right, Deval and Popola, they hinted at another Deval and Popola going crazy. And so that is leading to all of these Resistance members not trusting these two. And so they have to do the harder jobs. Yeah, maybe this is the tent that they're sitting under with a big hole in it. Alright, we'll help them out anyway. But yes, I did say that comments are on here, on this video, and then all of the previous Automata and Replicant videos. But that is not an invitation to start writing me essays about the lore. If I want that, I'll look it up myself. But if you have, you know, your own feelings, your own interpretations, like which characters you like, which scenes you like, you know, implications for the future of reincarnation, that kind of thing, then I would be happy to hear that. Okay, so they sent us on another fetch quest. I already have all the stuff that they need because I've been playing this game for 60 hours at this point. So we'll just immediately go back and talk to them. And in those few seconds, when my back was turned, Devola got drunk. Okay, but we got the tree sap. We can give that to Popola. And then in Replicant, Devola, she would often hang out in the tavern. So that might be a connection there. A major incident. That might be what happened in Replicant, where they attacked the protagonist, and then made a big explosion. And then this last quest, we were tasked to get some desert rose flowers. And apparently Devola uses that to brew her own drink. Oh, is Popola an angry drunk? Okay, and then we get the item, Popola's booze. Oh, I remember. There was a diary entry of Yona from Replicant where she mentions Devola and or Popola talking about how they enjoy booze or hooch. Okay, so here it is. Enhancement item, restores HP, raises attack power. Okay, so let's skip ahead here. 9S is trying to hack into the tower, but these enemies are coming down and distracting us. Ain't got time for this. And allies show up. It's Devola and Popola. And they have type 3 swords? That's very cool. And even in my first playthrough, when I didn't know who these people really were, it was very cool to see them kind of come in and start fighting. But yeah, as they take care of the enemies, we can use that time to hack into the tower. And this shot is cool, just a long, slow pan out. The scene gets bigger and bigger, and we get a better look at Deval and Popola as they run around. Super cool. And they could totally make them playable characters in Reincarnation. Why not? Also be cool to have them as playable characters in this game. Maybe in Reincarnation make them a 2-in-1 character. The two of them just take up one slot in your party. But it's probably too late to wish for things like that. Okay, so we're trying to hack into the tower, but there are all these barriers, this defensive system that we can't get through. Alright, 9S is thrown back by the defense system. Popola just jumps in there. And she's opening the door. Amazing. Devola grabs us, throws us inside. And then it changes to 9S climbing the tower. And then at this point, we have the two pods talking to each other, and then they find this story of Devola and Popola. So yeah, let's have a look. I went back after the fact, and it has its own sort of entry in the novel section. But Deval and Popola's memories. As members of the same model, all that was left to them was the stigma of being labeled rampant androids. Unable to endure further persecution, they began their long march to a city located a great distance away, leaning upon each other, burdened with an unforgivable sin. I'm not going to read this entire thing. I'm more interested in seeing like what I can learn from this, like more connections to other games or more maybe hints about the future. But here we see Devola and Popola. They are moving through the desert. And here, record, transitions in the project's initial phase. I'm assuming this is the Gestalt project. When we first woke, there were still people. So yeah, this is very early. And these two were created by humanity. With a single order, function as observers of Project Gestalt. And it's interesting, also, in Nier Reincarnation, there's some artwork of Devola and Popola. But if we look in the reflection underneath them, we can see Marie and Yuri in there. Another pair of female entities that are tasked with something. So the parallel there is very interesting. But observers of Project Gestalt, I feel like the Deval and Popola, they had a much more active role. Observers really implies a passive role. But looking at Replicant, they did look like kind of leaders of the community. Much more than just observers. Okay, latest model. Pride in being entrusted with humanity's future. And anxiety as well, but they had a pair, so they could be more assured in their mission. And each pair was given their own city. We were ordered to guide the replicants with our own hands, all for the sake of the promised time that one day would arrive. So yeah, the world is full of replicants, which are bodies, which kind of, look and function like human bodies. But they're not true humans. The actual human, like sentience and conscience and will, that is all held by the gestalts, which look like the abyssal characters, but like yellow. And then this promised time is when they're able to transfer those humanity, those souls, I guess you could call it, into the bodies of the replicants. And then Deval and Popola are there to kind of watch over the replicants until that time comes. But as we saw from the timeline of all of this, that was like thousands of years. Okay, and then when there are scenes where it kind of cuts to like a desert background, this is focusing on their running away, traveling through the desert. I'm not going to cover these in great detail. I'm more interested in the ones that are all black, that are talking about the history of Devola and Popola. Okay. Report regarding the increase of relapses. This was another idea brought up in a Replicant where humans that are made into gestalts, they lose their sentience and will. There has to be some way to prevent relapses. Private quarters. The replicants will hear. They wouldn't even understand if they did. So yeah, the replicants are kind of like... It's kind of like Devola and Popola like running a zoo or something. And then just kind of taking care of the replicants until the time. But yeah, they are keeping secrets from the replicants. And here they're talking about the Black Scrawl. That's the disease that we saw that took Yona in Replicant. They are arguing. At first they were filled with pride, but now they're wondering about the project failing. Okay, here they're talking about the replicants gaining a sense of self. That was not something that was anticipated. And the Black Scrawl taking over. And yes, they are still keeping secrets about this from the replicants as well. In here they are saying, or they're reiterating a point that they made at the end of a Replicant, where this job would have been too hard to do alone. And so maybe the humans saw this coming and then made them a pair. And then here they talk about the Deval and Popola from one town that went berserk and ruined everything. And again, that's probably the ones that we saw in Replicant who attacked the protagonist. Okay, and then we have another scene from the desert. Don't think I need to talk about this anymore. But yeah, because of the persecution that they felt, they left their town and entered the desert. Okay, record of Project Gestalt's end. So they were around for the end of Project Gestalt, and it ended in part because the Deval and Popola from the other town went crazy. Right, the original Gestalt. So they attacked... No, they didn't attack the original Gestalt. They attacked the protagonist as Replicant, but that protagonist destroyed the original Gestalt, as we saw in the ending multiple times. And so because of that, humanity was doomed to an inevitable extinction. Knowing this, we gathered what remaining replicant data we could find and launched it to the surface of the moon. Interesting. So that's a direct link between the end of the Gestalt project and the database on the moon. But from what I saw in other places, it was also gathered data about the Gestalts, the humans, in addition to the replicants. And then maybe the library that we saw in Nier Replicant, where Devola and Popola hang out. Maybe that was like a prototype of the moon base. And therefore the library from Sino Alice, or the cage from Nier Reincarnation. And then going through the cage during a recent chapter in Nier Reincarnation, we did see Devola and Popola in there. Maybe they uploaded themselves as well. Protecting humanity was our instinct, right. And then other androids, right. Okay, so this kind of relates to the previous video that I made, I think, where the extinction of humanity really hurt the morale of the androids who were fighting to protect them. But they had Devola and Popola to sort of direct their frustration, their hopelessness. And so they endure more prejudice, more resentment. Finally comes to violence, and they leave for it. Okay, and then we get to the final desert scene. Why must we suffer? Although we look like that Deval and Popola, we are not them. And it starts to rain, and it's very cold. And they talk about another camp on the other side of the desert. So possibly, the Deval and Popola that we meet in Automata are these characters that we see here in the desert. And maybe they made it to the resistance camp, and then found work there as kind of maintenance or healing androids. Okay, here we are given the kind of the second choice. It doesn't matter what we choose, but I just picked the top one on both. And this question here, very interesting and important. Is this our punishment? This kind of links to the beginning, opening lines of Nier Automata. And then I will talk about punishment as well when I finally make that video about sin in Nier games. But punishment implies the existence of some kind of greater being that judges you to have gone against, certain rules, and therefore deserving of punishment. To say that something is punishment is to kind of imply there's meaning behind the suffering, when actually there could be no meaning at all. Alright, last desert slide here. The rain flows down her cheeks like tears. I reach over and gently wipe it away. That's kind of reminiscent of the tears in rain speech from Blade Runner. I've heard it called the best monologue or the best speech in cinematic history, but maybe I'll link to that in the comments below. I swore to myself that I would stay with her forever, for that is the fate we twin androids have been assigned. Right, fate, another important concept, and then kind of represented here accurately. I talked about this in my Greek tragedy video. I'll link to that below as well. But yeah, fate is blind and cannot be escaped. And it looks like that the twins here simply accept it. Okay, and then here let's look at a couple alternate endings. So if we are 9S and we have the twins fighting for us to buy us time for hacking, and if we just stand there and watch them for like 5 minutes, they'll eventually die. And then we'll get a secret ending. Nines decided not to hack the tower in order to help Deval and Popola. It was a nice thought, but they all ended up getting killed anyway, alright. Ending V, Reckless Bravery. Alright, and then one more. If we don't stand there, if we run away, leaving the zone of combat, abandoning Devola and Popola, then we get a different ending. Stupid 9S. Of course, Devola and Popola died. Their lifeless bodies were found shortly thereafter, each clutched tightly in the other's arms. Ending S. City escaped. Alright, and then in the ending scenes, we get another shot of Devola and Popola almost embracing each other. But yeah, I think that will do it for this video. We saw a little bit of them in a Nier Reincarnation, but I wonder if we'll see more of them in the future. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.